Hey there, hunting family. Welcome back to our channel, Tracks and Tackle. I'm your host, the Arrow Eagle, and today we have an exciting topic to discuss. Imagine a place where outdoor enthusiasts from all walks of life can gather to celebrate their love of nature, adventure, and all things wild. Well, that place does exist, and it's called the Great American Outdoor Show. And in this podcast, we're going to take you on a tour of this incredible event and show you how it unleashes the outdoorsman within us. So grab your hiking boots and let's dive in. Hey hunting family, welcome back to Tracks and Tackle. I got the Arrow Eagle and Hollywood Horse checking in with you another afternoon. Thanks for checking in with us. And we got some stories to tell today. How you doing, Hollywood?
Doing great, and stories we have to tell. I know you were pretty played out yesterday, that all the walking, you're dealing with a little sinus stuff, the gym allergies. And it was just a long day out at the Great Outdoorsman Show that the NRA put on. It's a 9-day festival that they do where everybody comes in. They go to the Farm Show Complex here in Harrisburg, and it is the world's largest, as proclaimed. There's a lot of traffic going through, but it was just a great time spent, and we learned a lot.
Yeah. Shout out to the NRA, keeping our freedoms alive, fighting for a good cause. We are supporters and members, and appreciate all that they do. And they sponsored this event, the Great American Outdoors Show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which was just a tremendous time of going out there and sort of immersing yourself, bringing out your inner outdoorsman. They had something out there for everybody. Boating, fishing, hunting, camping, arms, just the amount of guns and holsters and ammunition and just different tactical gear. It's more than you can fit into in a day, but we went and we spent a long day there yesterday, and no kidding, I've been fighting off a cold, and I was whooped until the end of the day. Just did a lot of walking, and but it was a good time. I really enjoyed it. So wanted to break down the journey that we had, the time we spent there, and get into that with you, because this was your first trip to the Outdoorsman Show. They do this every year, early February, week-long event. Vendors from all over the Americas come in. A lot of people I saw from Canada, Alaska. There were some African hunts, vendors that were there selling hunts. So we were talking it up to you for a couple of months now, and just wanted to sort of tackle this, and we'll break down like the different things that we experienced there. But the Outdoorsman Show is for like-minded people coming together with a passion to, the hunting industry really coming together, to sell, to buy, to trade, to barter, and to network. And so it was a great experience to get out there and spend some time doing that. But from your perspective, because I've been there, I've done that. It's been quite a few years since I've done that, but I wanted to hear from you. What was your expectation before you go in? Like, now 2020, hindsight's always 2020 vision, but what were you expecting when we walked into there, as we were hyping it up? Your dad was hyping it and I was hyping it to you. What were you thinking?
Yeah, so I guess to rewind, first when we got the tickets, all right, sweet, it's a month out, I got some time, but, it's on the back of my mind thinking, what's going to happen, what's going on. I did my research, I looked, seeing there's going to be a lot of vendors there, all different backgrounds, some trying to sell you some hunts, some trying to, get you going on a camping adventure, some just trying to sell you some equipment, and some just to promote their product. But I knew that it was going to be busy, which busy it was. So as time got closer and closer, on the Fridays I have half days. Mm-hmm. So having that half day and knowing that we were going to hit the Sportsman Show right after, I was getting really antsy. The last person I worked with for the day, he was an avid sportsman, so we talked to each other's ear off about it, and as soon as that was done, closed my computer, didn't even finish work. I pushed it off for Monday and
That'll be there on Monday.
got in the truck and then met up with you and we were on our way. So it really felt like a field trip, an adult field trip, because the parking was a madhouse. So we had to park.
So let me stop you. Let me stop you
Yeah.
there because you're setting the stage really good. And first impressions are, we pull in. You saw the parking lot at the arena, at the complex, and then like that was full, and we actually went into an overflow parking, across the street into a different parking lot from another facility where they were shuttling people in and out. When you saw the parking situation, did that change like the scope? Because we were saying about how many people come to this event, but did that like make any type of an impression on you when you saw like how many? Because I remember pulling in the parking lot, you're like, there's a lot of trucks here.
Parking lot was filled, essentially probably 95% trucks, and you get your occasional Toyota Corolla or little family SUV in there. But no, like I said, I knew it was going to be busy, but I don't know. It's like getting ready for the football game. You got some time to mentally think about it, but when it's you run out on that field and you see the full stadium and the adrenaline starts to pump. And I'm a small town guy.
Yeah.
When I go to the grocery store, I see probably 10 to 15 people. I don't mind my peace and quiet. So when I went in there, I see all these traffic, and especially when we first got into the building, it's just like, whoa, there's a lot of people.
Yep.
And you said it multiple times. I was thinking about saying it to you, but there's a lot of cross traffic, and you don't want to walk into anybody. You don't want people to walk into you, but you got to get skinny.
There's a lot of
you got to move
bumping.
your shoulder, or you bump into someone. You say your sorries, but
Yeah, I was bumping into all. I was thinking as small as I could, but I got broad shoulders, so. Yeah, we were doing some love taps just walking through the aisles.
Yeah, but first impression, I was like, I'll be honest, I was a little overwhelmed.
All right.
But it's like we're here, this is it. So I was just trying to process everything. I think in the first 15 minutes or so, you were asking me, we came up with the game plan of the first arena that we were at was just to slowly walk around the outside, which was where all the trucks, the four-wheelers, and some of the heavier equipment was. We were trying to figure out how in the heck we were going to haul this stuff home.
Did a perimeter check, and questions started popping up like, now how do I, in my mid-sized Toyota Tacoma, how do I haul home a trailer with a side-by-side and the bass boat that we were all planning to buy, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I went into, it's funny because, we laugh about that, but, I went in with, you go into a place like that, it's like a kid in a candy store, because there's so many vendors, so many cool things. Whatever your niche is, you're going to find something that's going to, tickle your fancy. And so I had a little bit of money stored away that I was planning on spending. I knew that I had a little bit of money that I'd be willing to part ways with, and it wouldn't hurt the wallet too bad. But when you get in there, it's like, man, like I said, we did a perimeter check, and then we sort of dissected the entire area, section by section, before pulling the trigger on any purchases. I know that we ended up, and we'll get into this later, on a couple of things that we did buy, but just going through and taking the time to visualize everything. And in addition to visualizing everything, talking to people, just getting to know people and stuff. And then we went through in the back end, once we've waded through the masses and the sea of people, back to the places where we thought we might want to make some purchases and things. So, yeah, it was definitely a good experience, an overwhelming experience. I see a lot of people on social media saying that they would be there, that they're stopping in, whether they were vendors or visiting and stuff. And it's just this atmosphere where your inner outdoorsman comes alive, and we can all come together. And a lot of Trump supporters. So Trump was scheduled to be there on Friday night. We were out there on Friday during the day. And so, and amongst of just all the outdoorsmen, who a lot of us are, red-blooded American patriots, you had just red-blooded American patriots showing up because they wanted to get in line for the Trump rally when he spoke to the NRA on Friday night. So that was really exciting, and there was just a buzz about the building. all day long. So,
and I just knew how serious this was, that it wasn't amateur hour. It wasn't some amateur show when we park and there's a big coach bus waiting to be filled before it, travels across the road to take you to the entranceway. So.
Yeah, they did it right. They did a great job. It was really an enjoyable time. So, well, we talked about expectations a little bit, and what you were anticipating. Let's reflect on reality. So from what you were thinking it might be to what you experienced, what were the contrasts in that?
Yeah, so I guess I got the busyness that I was expecting.
Right.
I didn't really realize the sheer number of vendors in the stands. I looked at it on the map. Looking at the map, it looked like a mini Manhattan with every stand and every side street and alleyway that you could go down. But all in all, I think they covered all aspects of the avid outdoorsman well. Where we first started, there was a lot of gun stuff. So, for your recreational shooter, likes to targets, there was all sorts of barrels, stocks, and bolts. This isn't where I was well versed. So when we started there, I kind of felt lost. Even
there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Even when you know a little bit, it's like I say. Like sometimes I know more than the next guy, but there's the next guy out there that knows more than me too. And so, when it comes to your tactical gear, firearms, that sort of thing, there's a ton of stuff out there that there's a lot of guys that are a lot smarter than I am out there when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and just walking through, I guess if we just want to say the first arena, that was primarily what was there, the firearm meatheads out there. But it was just, I don't know, if I liked where we started because that seemed to be the busiest section.
Sure, yeah, it was.
I don't know if there was the most stands there, or maybe that's where most of the outdoorsmen that were coming were firearms guys. But what I realized a lot through the whole journey there, I had a lot of wish list items that I kind of forgot about. So going through, I was like, that's something I forgot. My sling, I put it on my shotgun, and then deer season, I put it on my rifle. So down the road, it'd be pretty convenient that I don't have to switch either one. I can just leave it on. But in all, I think at the end of the day, I kind of realized I don't have to get everything here today.
Yeah.
Because there was a tote. We're working on improving our self-recording. So some more gear to carry in rather than being a turtle with backpack on the front, backpack on the back. Just being a little bit more comfortable through the woods. And the holster that I ultimately ended up purchasing. But all in all, through each section, there was just a lot of things I realized that hey, I could use down the road. And it would help me when I'm in the woods.
So you talked about the different products and stuff that we were visualizing, and some of the people that we met and everything. As far as the vendors go, I know we stopped and we talked to a couple of guys, and some guys were short-winded and other guys were maybe a little bit more long-winded. They had their sales pitch down. It was Friday towards the end of the week till we got there, so you got to think that the vendors. I've done shows and stuff like this before where you're the one presenting and you're fresh at the beginning of the week, but towards Friday, like a lot of these people, Friday afternoon, you could see it on their faces, like they were just, all right, I've been here a week. They weren't trying to sell you quite as hard, but some folks were, So out of the different vendors and stuff, and I guess we can segue into products that we saw that were cool too. But was there anybody that we talked to that stuck out to you that you would want to bring up, you thought was interesting?
Well, yeah, as for interesting ideas, I know the vendors at Ozonics. Mm-hmm. That was a product that I had no idea even existed, and you're over there like, that's on my wish list. Right. And you kind of look at me like, oh, you didn't know?
That's right, yeah.
So
great quality product.
So I learned about them, and just kind of hearing that you had some insight on it made me want to ask more questions. Like, what is this? What does it do? Why is it important? Why does my uncle here, why does Air Eagle want this product so bad? There's got to be a trick to it. So talking to them, I think it was cool listening and talking to the scent guy, just learning about their product. Because normally, if you're going to get an estrus product, some dough wee, it's more in a liquid form, but this company came up, it's more of a gel form, and their claim is that it lasts in the woods longer and will bring more deer your way. So that was pretty neat to me. There was the crossbow that looked like it had a baby with a compound bow.
Yeah, that was really a unique
Yeah.
product.
Yeah, just someone that was like, hey, let's try this. And essentially it's a mini compound bow, and it looks like they put a pistol grip on it. So like a stock grip to your shoulder. So they kind of combine the two concepts.
Right, yeah. And it was compact.
Light.
You had, like you could pull that thing into your shoulder, and so you could actually shoot it with one hand, which you can't do with crossbow. It was actually interesting, and the guy that was trying to, he was doing a sales pitch and introducing us to the product, telling us about it. They had it set up where you could just go over and you could target practice yourself. He's like, now that I told you about it, he's like, go over here and shoot it.
So yeah, he was a good salesman. He's like, next step, go over there. He wasn't even asking you. He was telling
seeing is
you.
believing, right?
Yeah.
So get your hands on it, try it out. When we were talking to the folks it was a local company that were making the scents, and they had the scent wicks, the ropes and the gel and everything. They were really, I love dealing with local people, but anybody that's doing a home run business. So whether you're local, like we're from Pennsylvania, so whether you're in PA or whether you're in Montana, if you're small family run business, I want to support that versus the big box store type deal. But, it's just fun talking to people, because this guy, he was breaking out a cell phone. He was showing us his personal trail cam pictures, anything to convey, hey, this product works. And he said to us, the guy who was actually talking to us said, look, I don't even work for this company. I just use the product. I got to know the owner, and I volunteer here at the show to help him out, because
everything.
I'm a believer that he used it, and he's a believer. And so that goes a long way whenever it comes to pushing a product to me. It's that word of mouth is the best advertisement, like they say.
Right. But yeah, we got to talk to plenty of vendors. Is there any ones that jumped out to your mind, or anything that you learned that you might be weren't the most well versed prior to going?
Well, I'm a techie guy, so like I'm not a tech nerd, but like you talked about, we get into filming, we get into recording, you want something light, you want something that can carry your gear into and out. We carry a lot more gear than just the average hunter into and out of the stands, right? So I'm looking for light tree stands, light camera arms, different recording devices and stuff. There's a lot of really cool products as far as new technology for like camera arms, on a swivel that would work well in the field. Ran into this one group. They weren't even selling anything, but they're doing a push. He had developed kind of like a social media for hunters called Camo Space, and had a really long conversation with him. He's trying to get it up and running. He's got a couple decent amount of subscribers. He's got some well-known names out in the hunting industry that everybody would know that are promoting this for him, and had a great conversation with him. We just wanted to create a space for hunters where we could all come together. We're kind of like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, like all those. They censor your content when you get into hunting and killing animals. There's blood. There's everybody has their own standards. He's trying to create something for the hunting community to have a social network to come together and be able to post your pictures and get to know one another and celebrate one another, who are functioning in this industry without being censored because of the content that's going on. So it was an interesting concept. I'm going to look into it, and we'll probably see some of our stuff going up on Camo Space here in the next month or so, once we implement that into our rhythm of all the other socials that we post. So yeah, that was really cool. But I had a lot of fun talking to everybody. My biggest thing was I wanted it to be an awesome experience for you.
Yeah, I soaked it up. I was a sponge out there, man.
So I know there's several times where we were walking through the sea of people, and I would turn back and I'd be like, hey man, if I'm going too fast, if you want to stop and talk to somebody.
I'm a slow walker to begin with. There's a few times where, I'm not going to cut someone off, especially, they got a baby and a stroller.
Yeah, so
it's like, well, no, I lost Ronnie.
So what about, we weren't there for probably 45 minutes, and we get behind this lady, and she's like, I lost my husband. And it was funny because, we talked to her about it and say, this is bound to happen in an event like this. But she's pushing the stroller, carrying a kid.
Yeah, she had 2 or 3 with her.
She's got the whole family, and she's like, all right, I lost my husband. And you had said to me after we had, walked on a bit, you're like, I wonder what the over-under is on how many wives we're going to hear that from. And I don't know, maybe an hour or two later, I heard another lady in passing, we're walking through, she's like, I don't know where my husband's at. So, we're just like big kids when we go to events like this.
Right.
All right, cool.
One thing that I think you can agree upon that camo space, and there's plenty of other vendors, is there's a lot of stuff people came up with and are like, why didn't we think of this?
Yeah.
Like that one product that's just a simple clip hooked on a belt, but you make an attachment on the compound bow, and you can put it behind your back here. You can put it on your hip, like you have your tool belt and you're putting your hammer in there. Or, the back of your car, you put on the headrest. Just more convenient for travel.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple other products out there. Like, people actually thought of this, and people are actually making business and doing well for themselves with this. Like that bow that we talked about.
Yeah, like the old phrase is necessity is the mother of invention. So, like, when you're in a pinch and you need to figure out something, it's kind of like us setting up the studio here. Like, all right, let's figure it out. We might not have camera stands and mic stands, and maybe we don't have all the tools that we need, but we manufacture it so that it works.
Yeah.
But all right, now I know I have a need for that. I have a need to, like, carry my compound on the back of my truck seat. How can I formulate and fashion something that I can do this easily that will sell on the market? And that, as well as, like, when you get into, like, the calls, like the turkey calls, the duck calls and all that, like, I love walking through that section because you got everybody's, like, practicing.
Hammering down.
They're hitting goose calls, they're hitting duck calls and stuff. I love duck hunting. We don't have a lot of good duck hunting, like, where we're at, but everybody's got their own, it's the same concept, but everybody got their own product. And everybody's, this is why my turkey call's better than the next guy's. So that's always fun to sit and hear people's stories and how they got started or why they invented the product, because necessity is often the mother of invention, right? When it comes to something new like that. So, anything else on vendors or products?
I just thought it was pretty cool that these vendors came from all over the world.
Yeah.
You touched on Canada, Africa. There was a lot from out west. You're talking about your gear, making sure as light as possible.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy out in Idaho, Colorado that was giving you the sales pitch on the camera gear, just based on that reason. It's really light. He showed you how it folds up. But yeah, just touching the point, Louisiana, North Carolina. Just trying to think what state I didn't see. I don't know if Florida made an appearance.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they were there. We're talking to guys from Kansas, talking to guys from Idaho, Wyoming, But that's the thing, like, hunting's universal.
Right.
Fishing's universal. Loving the outdoors is a universal thing. Like, our concept, nature is our playground. It's not just our concept.
Yeah, there's no bounds to mean it has to be done here. It can be done wherever.
Exactly. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, life is better outdoors.
Yeah.
And so, it's just great to see everybody come together and in such volume. For the industry to come together and things like that. But like anything else, like, we commercialize everything. So if people are there making $1, when it comes down to hunting, I'm going to hunt my hunt. You're going to hunt your hunt. We're going to shoot the deer that we're going to shoot. We're not trophy hunters. We're not big farm owners. We're just like two guys that blue collar jobs that we love sharing our stories, and that's why we do what we do. But, after having our last episode where we were talking about the deer hide, getting into that process of tanning a hide, it was really cool to see all of the furs.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because these guys are, like, professionals, you know, and they were, like, really awesome, sweet-looking red foxes, coyotes, just about anything that you wanted, raccoon skins, but it done really well, reminded me that we're novices.
Right, yeah, especially with the hide that we recently did and now our shed hunting. We can get into that another episode.
Yeah.
But every time I saw something, like, kind of nudging Ronnie, like, hey, look, check out there. Hey, there's some camera equipment. Like, look, just I know he saw it for sure, old equalizer over there, but
Yep.
just to prove a point, like, there you go, buddy, it's right there.
That's what you need as a friend, just to egg you on.
Yep.
You can buy, like, there are guys there selling antlers and selling taxidermy and that sort of stuff. Like, for me, I don't know that I necessarily, I don't know, I never really thought about putting something on the wall that I didn't harvest myself,
Yeah.
But there's a nice elk hanging on the wall that had a price tag on it, and I thought that would be awesome.
The moose.
Moose horns. I said, like, that would be awesome above the fireplace at my house.
Right.
But
no one's gonna ask, did you buy this? They're gonna assume that you shot it.
I know, but I mean, there's just inside, like, that's like hunt your hunt. That mentality of, I don't know. I would know that I didn't harvest that animal, and I'd have to get permission from the chief at home to make a purchase like that, or else I'd have a moose head sitting in the basement somewhere because I'm not allowed to put it on the wall. So there's an understood hierarchy at our home.
Right. So all right, hey, we went through when we first got there.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the gun section. I saw a few wish list items. I had to take a bathroom break. Finished up.
Compose your thoughts.
Yeah, we had to recompose our thoughts.
A lot to take in.
I think my feet were hurt. We were there for 50 minutes, an hour. We looked at the clock. We got there around 12. It was about an hour, but the feet were starting to bug me already, and it's just like slow traffic. It's probably the busiest of the section. So you just want to walk through where we went to next, what you saw, your expectations.
Yeah. So first section that we bruised through was that firearms section, tactical guns, ammo, that sort of thing. Big section, a lot of vendors. From there, we hit the archery area, which is, we're both really into archery. Not as big, not as many vendors, but that's where I started to geek out on stuff.
Yeah,
because that's the stuff that I wanted to, really look into.
Yeah, we could talk to the people, and that's where first stand on the right, because we just decided our plan was each where we went, let's check out the perimeter first, check the scene, and then snake draft all the way through it.
Right.
And that's where you bumped into Ozonics right away.
So the first vendor in there was the Ozonics stand, and I started talking to the one guy who was presenting for them, and I've been putting off getting an Ozonics unit, I don't know, 5-6 years. Every year, I think I'm gonna spend the money, but it's a couple $100 for it, and I killed deer without the Ozonics unit. For those that don't know, like, the Ozonics unit, what it does is it creates like an ionosphere. You put it in a tree above you, it runs on a battery, and it kicks out these ions that create an umbrella to the molecule. At the molecular level, it eliminates your scent. So it creates, kind of like if you use a thermocell, it creates this dome around you that the mosquitoes don't come in and bite you. Well, the Ozonics creates this dome around you where your scent is neutralized, and it presents an opportunity for deer to come in closer and not bust you with their nose, which they're really good at, right? So I've been putting that off. I know some guys that have them, that use them, and they kill big bucks. And it's like one of those, like I say, it's a nice to have, not a need to have.
Right.
But the guy was doing a good job at trying to sell me on it. He was giving me some good, show sale price is what they would throw out. So that's one vendor that we hit right away, and I thought, well, that's not a bad price, but we kept on moving because I didn't want to
just think about it too.
I didn't want to spend all my money, right off the bat, right? And but we went through a lot of trail cameras. Tacticam was there. A lot of tree stands, saddle hunters. You guys are out there that do that saddle hunting. A lot of products out there for that, camouflage, etc. So overall, that's my sweet spot, is in the archery area. So we get out of the archery area, and we're thinking, all right, we need to probably record some content so that we want to have something to post. Right?
Yeah, I was overwhelmed soaking it in, like shoulder to shoulder with people. I'm not worried about getting, a quick shot, or, we even wanted to just record a little quick impression. That way we can capture some of these thoughts and not have to, worry about forgetting them.
And everything was loud.
Yeah, it's loud until, we got into this 3D archery shooting competition. They have, I don't know, think of a football field, and they have about 50 yards of it with different kinds of decoys out there, some large game, small game. They had a Sasquatch out there, some little kid shot, but we sat in the bleachers. We rested our feet for a quick 5 minutes. We were able to talk to each other for a little bit, and that's peaceful in there.
We went from a loud, busy hall into the archery center, and it was like you could hear a pin drop in that place. And we're like, man, I don't want to come in here like talking really.
Yeah, how obnoxious
I had to drop
would that be?
my volume of my voice, But folks are in there shooting. It's a 3D archery competition, and it was fun because they had people of all ages in there. Youngsters, getting started. I remember shooting the bow when I first started. I was probably like 10 or 11. I wasn't even hunting yet, but I was shooting the bow just to practice with your dad and my dad, and so it's fun seeing those youngsters in there shooting the Sasquatch targets and stuff like that. But we got a rest in that place, and then we went in and we started hitting some of the main halls. Get into the duck calling, the fishing section.
Volume definitely changed when we went in there.
Yeah. A lot of boats. The size of some of those boats and stuff. I mean, I wonder how many guys actually go in there and drop a purchase like that.
Yeah, not me.
You said about, there were vehicles. There were like trucks that were all tricked out and stuff. Who goes to an outdoorsman show and buys a pickup truck? But somebody does, obviously, or they wouldn't bring them.
I was willing to spend a few bucks, first outdoorsman show, and I'd treat myself a little bit, but I wasn't ready to drop it down on a boat yet.
Yeah. Well, we had some good conversations with different folks. I know we talked about it a little bit. Towards the end, we got into the different outfitters, which for me is fun. Like, I don't go on a whole lot of hunting trips. I hunt local a lot, but I wouldn't put it off if I met the right guy, had the right setup, had the right price, and the right timing. I'd love to go out west and hunt elk. That's on my bucket list to do. And we've gone down south a time or two, and done some whitetail hunts down south as well. So, we were just, as you said, snaking our way through the alleys and stuff. We were talking to different vendors and stuff. A lot of really good taxidermy. A lot of really cool. Anything that you saw that stuck out to you as far as the taxidermy? One guy, he does a school, and he was. We didn't get the chance to talk to him. He was talking to somebody else, but he apparently he teaches people how to do it. So, did you see any work that stuck out to you?
Yeah, what was it? There was like a wildebeest with like a lion jumping on its rear end, clawing it to drag it to the ground. There was a buffalo with two coyotes basically doing the same thing. It's just, wow, attention to detail. And you even pointed out the one to me, which, I might not have seen that part of the art. Mm-hmm. Just taxidermy to begin with. It's beautiful. I know it's time consuming to, overall finished product, but this was
an art form.
It was an antelope that we saw, but it was bedded on the ground, but you could see the wrinkles in the cape. Yeah. Just the way we're sitting here, it might have a few wrinkles in her belly. Yeah. But, just that they took the time and they put that in versus, making it smooth. Just jumps out to you, the attention to detail.
Made it realistic for sure.
Some of the lions and elephants, how massive some of these mounts were.
Yeah,
it was pretty neat. But yeah, it was cool to wind through these sections. I'm quite not ready to book a trip, but maybe in 2 to 3 years I will be. But it was good to talk to some vendors, get ballpark idea, really realize how expensive it is if you want to go on a trip, especially if you're going to Africa. Mm-hmm. This voucher here, man, they had a good chunk of land set up in the corner, and they got like dining room tables, so it's like a nicer thing for to sit down and talk.
Really good spread there.
But I didn't bother wasting their time talking to them, but I just grabbed this little pamphlet here, and luckily it's interesting, all the creatures that you can go on a hunt for, and it has the price for it. But it's just interesting. So to go as a hunter with a professional hunter, so your guide is $450, 2 hunters is $350 each, and to bring a non-hunting guest is just $200 for them. But let's see here, a baboon, $250. Cape buffalo, and the prices increase per the size of the rack,
Sure.
but less than 40 inches. So if you shoot what they call a smaller one, that's $9,500. Crocodile. These ones get interesting because under 10 feet is $3,500, but between 14 and 15 feet, $15,000. And if it's bigger than 15 feet, that's they don't even list the price.
Yeah.
So that's for, the special avid hunter. But they got hippos here, giraffes,
That's trophy
elephants,
hunting, without a doubt.
honey badgers, ostrich, lions, kudos, rhino, porcupine.
I went to Africa and all I shot was a lousy porcupine.
You gotta think for that poor soul. But zebra, wildebeest, there's just a lot of creatures in here. I didn't go through half of them. There's probably like 50 on this list.
Well, Africa's got a lot of unique wildlife. It's actually beautiful nature scene out there. It's a unique part of the world. There's no place like it.
Right. But I grabbed that one. We talked to a vendor in North Carolina. We were just talking about turkey hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Just look. Basically, I think what it comes down to, if you're looking to do a trip, to have a good starting budget, $1,000, and then you can justify how high you want. I think the turkey hunt was relatively $800 for a 3-day trip, but you want to figure your food, your gas money, and the traveling time. But it just opened my eyes and perspective to some of these trips are really expensive, and maybe some may be more affordable. But it was good to just walk an idea. Maybe, hey, that looks like fun. Maybe I want to do it in the future. Versus like, I don't think I really need to go to Africa for my first guided hunt. Let's start, maybe out west a little bit, or maybe down the Smoky Mountains. But just perspective was the biggest thing I learned from that setup there with all the vendors.
Well, it's kind of like we said at the beginning, where you're doing recon on how do we absorb everything.
Yeah.
But the trip for you, being that like we started saying, it was your first visit there. There's a lot of things that you hadn't seen before, right? And so the whole trip was probably a little bit of recon. Is what it sounds like, because you're taking in information, stuff that you just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So it was a really good time. I wanted to follow back because once we hit all the vendors, and we got something to eat, complained about our feet hurting a little bit.
Let's rewind. We got to sit down and lunch a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll rest the feet. Let's walk us through your lunch.
So you're going to go to the food court. You're going to spend a pretty penny.
More than you want to.
And I don't want to badmouth any of the food vendors there, because the food was good. It tasted good, but a little bit overpriced. But I wanted to get myself a cheesesteak, and I'm thinking, I wonder what kind of cheesesteak I'm going to get here at the farm show complex. It's basically $10 for a couple of little slab of meat on a hot dog bun with some cheese on top of it. So it tasted delicious, but I don't know that it was $10 worth of meat that I got in my bun. But it was enough to refuel me.
Yeah,
it was just enough to get me charged up, and then once I got a drink, hydrated myself, I was ready to go a little bit more.
Yeah, because we were both hungry. I could tell you looked wiped out. My feet were killing me. Your feet were probably killing you too. So got my food. I wanted to get a milkshake. Milkshake was pretty good, a little bit on the thicker side, but I was able to kind of sit down, rest my feet. You had to run to the bathroom, run to get a Powerade, and by the time you did all that, you were kind of like, all right, let's go. So
tackle it, man.
You were wiped out, but that definitely did give you the energy boost that you needed.
Well, yeah, fighting a head cold, I guess it was a head cold. I don't know what I've been fighting this week, but just that little bit of, walking around, even though it wasn't strenuous or whatever, you can tell, my body was, was feeling it.
It was fighting.
It was definitely fighting all day long, and so didn't have the normal stamina that I usually did, but been looking forward to the trip, and I'm glad that we went. We did make a couple of purchases. Why don't you tell us a little bit about a couple of things that we did circle back and that you pulled the trigger on?
Yeah, so circling back after we went through all of our sections, I've been looking to get more aggressive about my turkey hunting. I have a few calls in my arsenal, but it's always not bad to expand.
Yeah, you
So-
never have another too many.
Yep, I got a few mouth calls. I know I need a lot of practice on, but it was kind of nice talking to the vendor there. Kind of went in. I didn't tell him point blank, like, hey, I'm relatively new at this, but I asked around. I was like, hey, what's your favorite call here that you use? And then he filled me in a little bit and, tricks and strategies to use it and, how to make it last longer for your shelf life. So I got 2 of them, figuring I'll use one. The other one I can package away and save for when I need it, especially if it's a good product. So I've been practicing with that a little bit here. I have a hard time, like football, you put your mouthpiece in, sometimes you gag, but just keeping that mouthpiece in there. I'm still working on how to use it, but like anything else, it just takes practice and time. You say, 10,000 hours to
Yeah, now's the
master
time
craft.
of year to buy if you're going to get a new call, like a mouth call, because you got a little bit of time before season starts so you can practice.
Right.
So yeah, you did good on that, and he did a good job at the sales pitch. Hey, this is the one I like. This is why I like it. This is how I take care of it. So yeah, that was a good purchase.
Yeah, and then we looped back around to the archery section. You ended up pulling the trigger on the Ozonics, and I thought it was such a great product, great concept that I never knew before. But they have a car unit that you just plug into the cigarette lighter. Is that what them things are called?
Yeah.
Plug in the cigarette lighter, and you're supposed to defumigate your vehicle. So I had that testing on the drive home, and it seemed to work.
Yeah, back in the day, I guess cars still have the cigarette lighters. We use them to charge phones and things like that, but people used to smoke. And I mean, they had ashtrays in their car, and you push that cigarette lighter unit in, and it would be blazing hot, and you could light your cigar or light your cigarette. But I guess like your generation and the generation that's alive today, like the kids growing up, they're not used to seeing that as much.
It's like the
in use.
wormhole diggers.
Yeah, it's just it's gone the way of the past.
Right, so pulled the trigger on that. I know you got yours. You got a nice free hat with it.
Yeah, I got a free hat with a pretty large expensive purchase. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always wanted to get one of the Exonics units. I did pull the trigger on it. They gave me a really good price on it. I don't know. I didn't do the math, but I want to say probably 35-40% off of what you would if you went online to get it. And I wanted to get a T-shirt, but they, being the end of the week, they didn't have a shirt my size. I'm like, come on, you got to throw in some swag. I just dropped a couple bills on this toy, and so I got a pretty expensive free hat. So yeah, I'll sport it because I believe in the product, and I'm really excited. I won't use it for a couple of months. It'll be September, October until I get to break it out to really put it to the test. But I know guys that have used it, and it's that word of mouth, right?
When you got to wear the hat to get your money's worth out.
Yeah. So I'll be wearing the hat just to get my my purchased product return of investment on that. So yeah, that was good. And then we circled back through into the tactical area. I know you wanted to get a holster for your pistol.
Well, we got to rewind a little bit. I found the product that I didn't know about either in the archery section, and what it is.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So for me this year with the compound, I was really eager to get it out. The previous year, broke my wrist, wasn't quite healed to be able to draw back. This year I wanted to hone it in. My vision's getting worse. Can't use my peep sight with his glasses. It's just not in the way. Been doing some self-research on how can I fix this problem, but never really took action to it, like a lot of things.
You got a crossbow, it's working. So,
yeah.
But you want to hunt with the compound. I get it, man.
But anyways, what this tool is, it eliminates the need for a peep sight. It's, I don't know, like a 2-inch piece that's like basically like a magnifying glass that you mount, and it goes right in front of the sights. So you draw back to where you normally do it. Maybe you'll have to do thumb to the chin, like I used to do with the kisser button.
Mm-hmm.
And then you line it up and it magnifies stuff. So if I wanted to wear glasses, I could use this tool. If I didn't want to wear glasses, I can use this tool.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to try it out. It's something that's new, and I've been eager to work on getting my bow shot in and, you know, utilize it out on a great white-tail American hunt.
Yeah. Well, it's the summertime, and as soon as it starts to warm up a little bit, like let's get the bows out.
Yeah.
There's no time like the present,
Right.
To get the bows out, and let's get that thing shot in, because I'm excited to see how that works too.
Right.
Pretty cool product. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
You're getting that thing because you talked to the guy, and it's another one that we circled around later and came into and got. So
then we went
to the tactical section.
Yeah, and like we touched on earlier, is, you know, there's a lot of things that you think and you forget that, hey, I want this, but ultimately what I wanted was a holster so that I can carry when I'm, you know, walking in the woods, when I'm training the dog, and just when I'm going to be out in the wild a little bit more, and, you know, maybe even just on my daily commute. So talked to a couple different vendors. I found a product that was in my budget, and he was a good salesman. I think he almost got you in the sense of...
he was trying to sell me some
of your wish list
stuff that I would like to have, and I almost ended up spending a little bit more money, but you pulled me away just in time. You know, it's a good tag team partner there.
We got his business card though, but essentially what he was selling is just a magnet that goes on so you can attach, you know, under your desk, or you can put it under your steering wheel, wherever you see fit that you want to conceal, that you can put your firearm.
Yeah, very good, man. So, any last thoughts on the show, on the experience in a whole? What was your major takeaway?
Yeah, like I said, I think it was what I expected going in. It took me a little bit to settle in and kind of just relax and then truly soak everything in. You know, even pass through. They were doing some seminars, but this guy was talking about snakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that we didn't touch. Is we didn't sit through any of the seminars, and they had them all week long. A lot of really intelligent people that are well versed, and I mean, they even had, in fact, they had a little section set up where, you know, you could pay $6 for 5 minutes of trout fishing. You know, and it's like fishing out of a barrel, but it's, you know, something fun for your kids to catch some fish, and it was fun watching that stuff happen too.
Yeah, we walked through and there's just loud noise because this guy's, you know, counting down, and he's just being a good sportscaster.
Yep.
We're like, let's follow that noise. So we got rid of our snake path and we went directly beeline towards him, and it's pretty neat to watch for a little bit. You know, we debated getting Air Eagle in there for a little bit just to get some content, but we didn't want him to show up any little kids and make them cry.
Pay you $6 to get in there and show these little guys how to catch fish. Right? I know. I've been, you know, with friends and stuff that they're not fishermen, but they taken their kids like little tykes. They got them like a little fishing rod, and they want to take them out. And I'm watching these kids fish, and the dad's clearly not an outdoorsman or a fisherman. You know, he can bait a hook and he can teach them how to cast, how to reel, but kid doesn't have a clue. And I'm like watching fish, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if you give me that reel, man, I could catch some fish over here off to your left or off to your right or whatever. But you got to let the kids have fun, right? So
it's kind of like how our other family members teach us stuff. Here, let me show you how to do this.
Yeah, let me tell you a secret.
Let me teach you. Let me give you a secret.
Yeah. Had that happen to me recently. Somebody told me, he said, let me tell you a secret. And so I backed off of the project I was working on, and he just got in there and started doing it himself instead of telling me the secret. So, but that's how it is. That's how we roll. Not a problem there.
Right. But yeah, just big takeaways is there's a lot that's out there that you don't quite know. Mm-hmm. So expose yourself, and I think we did a good job, especially for myself, just getting out there and, you know, just learning from watching people, just listening to people and talking to them, just hearing their stories, hearing about their product, and just seeing how passionate people are. Like how passionate we are on here. There's plenty of other brothers and sisters that are out there that are doing the same thing. Yep. You know, they might not be behind the camera and the microphone, but, you know, just out in the wilderness all over the country and, you know, protecting this earth that we love. Yeah, enjoying nature and enjoying the outdoors. Being around those like-minded people, embracing their inner outdoorsman, right? So I guess to recap, you know, the Great American Outdoor Show brought to you by the NRA. Another shout out to them because
Didn't get any better than that. A lot of veterans were at this place, raising money. Some of them were how do we want to say? Because we support our veterans. We love our vets. Thank you for your service. Some were those pushy salesmen, and some were just easygoing, laid back guys. Just like any one of us would be.
Right.
So, but we talked to a lot of vets. Like I said, there were a lot of patriots here for that night's event. And, ultimately, the outdoorsman show in a pinch. It's just this space where we can all, come together, connect with one another, embracing, like I said, the inner outdoorsman, discover the beauty of maybe a different part of the outdoors that isn't your niche, but it's somebody else's niche. So we appreciate you guys that tune in and watch us for listening to us ramble for a little bit about, our adult field trip, because
right.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, buses and all.
Yeah, so it was a great experience. We're gonna have to start brainstorming about what our next adventure is gonna be, But I absolutely want to see you get that sight on your bow, that magnifier, and we want to get your bow shot in. So we'll probably be doing that here pretty soon.
Some product reviews coming up. There's quite a few.
Yeah, we've got a couple products. We'll do some reviews, talk some more about some of the people that we met with and networked with a little bit. And, ideally we're getting ready to go into like winter is going to start shifting into spring. The days are starting to get longer. We're going to start doing a little bit more shed hunting. So we'll probably have an episode coming up soon talking about our experiences going out looking for some horns. But I know that you've had your dog out. You've been training her on blood trails and getting her trained and ready to go. But she's doing pretty good at finding the deer in the woods too. Right. Finding some horns. So appreciate her contribution to the team. Any last words?
I think it was just great to get out. I think it says a lot that it's just not a Saturday, Sunday event. That's 9 whole days. Yeah. And you have vendors with a lot of stuff that are basically saying, sold out, or some of them, you said easy going, hey man, how's it going? Just making money. Just making money, man. That's what we're doing. So. Right. But it's still on Saturday. So you have a little bit more freedom. Last I talked from your wife and visiting you guys yesterday. So maybe we'll be able to get out and run a trail here for the dog. Yeah, we might be able to spend a little bit of time outdoors here before I pack it up and leave the studio. So appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, you can find us on YouTube at Menser Outdoors. We are Tracks and Tackle. Our handle on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you find social media, you can find us at Tracks and Tackle or at Menser Outdoors. We're on both channels there, and really just appreciate the community that we have been developing this year as we're putting out this content. Appreciate everybody. Much love to all you inner outdoorsmen, enthusiasts that want to come out. And until next time, just stay wild.